Hello, everyone. Thanks for watching. I am Sarah, and in this presentation, I want to share with you how I got my little yoga business from a struggling yoga teacher traveling all over town, teaching too many classes a week to the point of burnout, to a successful six-figure, sustainable and profitable and a business that I enjoy that allows me to help people and support students in an amazing way. So this class is for you if you're trying to get your students to show up to class consistently, if you are trying to figure out how to stop offering cheap or free yoga classes, and if you want to learn how to recruit, enroll, and retain students from a place of love and genuine care. This class is something that I created in order to help my students who oftentimes graduate from my yoga teacher certification programs to really get their business off the ground and teach them how to help people from a genuine place without suffering from burnout themselves and being able to pay their bills teaching yoga without having to juggle multiple gigs at the same time. I wanted to teach them how to raise their prices with confidence and how to really lead students to make an empowered choice to sign up for their program. So this class is not for you if you feel that because you're a spiritual worker, you don't deserve to live in abundance and living with little money is fine, even if that means a little bit of struggle and sacrifice. If that is your mentality and you don't feel that you deserve to make a living doing what you love and helping people, then this class is really not for you. This class is not for you if you're not willing to open your mind, because we have a major problem in the wellness industry right now, in the world really. And there's a problem with the expectation that services like ours should be free or cheap, and yet people are willing to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for cars, TVs, vacations. And we sit as yoga teachers constantly hustling and trying to convince students to help themselves. And we need to fix that. But that's on us as teachers and light workers to lead from a place of love and do things differently. So students right now are just following our lead. And if we want to fix the problem, we have to change our mind and we have to get out of our own way and think outside the box. In the next 27 minutes, what I'm going to show you is how to get paid between 1 to 3, sometimes even 5K per student for the programs that you sign them up for. How to enroll students that you love working with. So you are going to be leading from a place of love, and you are going to enroll students that you personally want to work with, that make your system light up. So no tugging and pushing and pulling and trying to convince people. We're going to have so many leads and so many applications coming in that you're going to get to decide who you want to enroll in your program. And with that, you're going to be able to make 6 figures a year working 30 hours a week. So this is not, a millionaire mindset kind of program. I think that if we wanted to be millionaires, we would not be teaching yoga. We would find something else to do. But I do believe that we as yoga teachers deserve to make a good income that at least is equal or higher than whatever we would make at our corporate jobs. And we should be able to do that working no more than 30, 35 hours a week if you really want to, only because the work that we do is energetically heavy, and we're trying to get people out of the land of fear. And in order to do that, we have to stay at the right vibration. And there's only so many humans that we can lift up for real. And so this is a program for you if you're struggling financially. If you're already making more than 6 figures a year, you're probably okay, and you're probably focused on something else. But if you're a struggling yoga teacher and you want to get yourself to a just fair enough salary for the backbreaking work that you do, then this program is for you. If you stay until the end, I will share the 3 questions that I use to get my students to a place of clarity, to where they are asking me to sign up for their program without giving me excuses and objections or bargaining with me. And I will ask you to ask yourself those questions, and I will give you the exact 3 questions to ask your students when they call you and say, I'm interested in your program, and you go through the enrollment process, and at the end, you want them to make the choice. Now, why am I doing this? I have been practicing for 22 years. I have been teaching for 12. I have been a studio owner. I still have my own small yoga studio now. I have taught online. I am a Reiki master practitioner, energy healer. I have yoga certification programs, life coach certification programs. But I see a huge gap in the industry where there's students that jump from class to class, from teacher to teacher, from studio to studio, from YouTube video to YouTube video, from workshop to workshop, from retreat to retreat. And there's no accountability, and there's no consistency in the way that the students are learning. And I don't think that's the students' fault. I think that that is an industry just common thing to do, is what students are being offered, and therefore that's what students follow. But if we come up as teachers and we raise our standards and we offer them a better solution, and whenever someone wants to work with us, instead of selling them class cards and one-on-one sessions, we explain to them that yoga and life coaching and massage and Reiki energy healing and sound healing and emotion code and whatever your modality is, it takes time, it takes commitment, it takes the student doing their part, it takes repetition, it takes dedication. So we have to present our solutions in these long-term containers of support that go above and beyond what everyone else is offering. And when you do that, students will get better results, because from the very beginning, they will have clarity as to what their problem is, where it is they want to go, how they're going to get there, how you're going to support them, which then allows you to focus on really helping them, as opposed to being in a constant hamster wheel, worried about where your next student is coming from and dealing with problems like flaky attendance or people canceling classes at the last minute, etc. So I do this because I feel that yoga teachers need to step up their game a little bit. And I was blessed to be on the receiving end of a lot of these teachings that I'm going to give you and these techniques. And I saw how my practice changed, and I saw how my students just benefited so much more from the structure that I was providing. And so I'm on a mission to just help purpose-driven women and teachers out there to get the business side of their wellness practice on the right track, so we can actually help people. Because if you're struggling on the business side and you're stressed and you're worried and you can't pay your bills and you're not where you need to be in order to actually provide real sustainable transformation for your students. The method that I follow is really, really simple. Instead of selling class cards and one-on-one sessions, I want you to design a program that goes beyond the poses. Now, that varies on your strength. Some of my mentees do programs on, for example, anxiety or depression or parenting or relationships, and how yoga and mindfulness can help heal some of the issues on the emotional level. Some of them do programs that are based on physical issues, back pain, shoulder pain, scoliosis, knee injuries, things like that. Or even things like digestion issues, IBS, hormonal imbalances, things like that. So we're going to create a little bit of a combination of yoga plus coaching, or yoga plus something of extra support that solves a specific problem for your students. Because when you say to a student, oh, I'm going to charge, $90 or $150 per session for you to come and see me once a week, but you're not able to articulate the benefits of what they're going to get, you're not able to articulate what problem you're going to solve, they just look at it like an expense. But if you can communicate your value and have systematic ways of attracting students, and once they call you and they raise their hands and they say, I'm interested, you're able to walk them through an enrollment process that is genuine and authentic and is coming from your heart, without feeling that ickiness of sales and asking for money and all of that noise that we sometimes just have in our head. If you can systematize all of that, okay, then a student will actually be very, very happy to give you $1, $2, $3, $5 grand and then more in order to help them solve a specific problem. Because there is no amount of money that they can really pay you to help them heal their anxiety, their depression, their back pain, their neck pain, to be better parents and to calm their mind and all of the beautiful things that we do in yoga. But people don't understand what it is that we do. They hear about yoga, sometimes they don't even know what that is, and they certainly do not know what the benefits are going to be. So we need to communicate our value very clearly. And then I'm going to help you create program that's anywhere between 6 to 12 weeks. To me, 4 weeks is the absolute minimum, that provides support and accountability. So what this means is that you must be willing to become someone's teacher for real, to hold their hand and to really share with them from a place of love and go above and beyond just teaching the yoga poses. A lot of my students, if they don't have anything else that they want to teach, they just teach yoga philosophy, how the mind works, the yamas, the niyamas, all sorts of different things. So you and I will work with your strengths to figure out what it is that you can offer that goes above and beyond. Some of my students have taken, for example, neuro-linguistic programming coaching, and they do a little bit of that, and emotion coach and all sorts of things. So there's something that you can offer them that goes beyond the poses, that's going to help you explain your value, and it's going to help solve a specific problem and pain point for them. The way that I want you to structure your programs is they must commit up front. If they don't commit up front, we're not going anywhere, because they need to have certain skin in the game. They need to be invested. They need to have a vision, and they need to take responsibility for solving whatever problem they feel they need to solve. And the way that I want you to structure your programs is in a way that doesn't burn you out. So that means that you record some of the material. Like, for example, my programs have a little bit of pre-recorded material, whether that's mini yoga classes or daily meditations or affirmations, or something that they can do on their own that is valuable to them, but it doesn't require your time again and again. Once the content is created, they can leverage it, whether that's workbooks or journals or reading assignments. If you give them a book to read or something like that, you want them to do their part. Otherwise, they're just showing up to class again and again. You end up feeling drained after class from how much energy it takes to shift them, right? But they're not doing their part at home to sustain that shift that you gave them. And I want you to leverage a combination of group classes and one-on-one classes, because there's only so many one-on-one classes that we can teach. But at the same time, that's what people really benefit from the most. And so what I like to do is have some group classes that they can attend on a regular basis at their leisure, on their schedule, but then at the same time have that one-on-one accountability with you. And whether you meet with them weekly or bi-weekly, or maybe at the beginning, middle, and end of your program, that depends on what you're teaching. But I want you to have a combination of one-on-one and group yoga classes. And one thing that I also feel is really helpful for students is to have community support, accountability, other peers that they connect with that are on the same journey. There is a power to the collective consciousness. So I want us as energy healers, light workers, yoga teachers to create that environment for healing to happen and to leverage the power of the collective and the community. So we'll be working on that a little bit. One of the things that I often think people stumble on where they're trying to create their yoga business is that they don't have a clear path of enrollment. They post on social media, they tell them the time of the class, how much the class is going to cost, maybe some of the benefits, but they don't communicate their value, and they don't explain why you are different than everything else. And so one of the things that I focus on a lot is on understanding how to enroll students from a place of love, a genuine, authentic place of love. It's easy to get someone to call you. It's easy to get them to ask questions about your program, but then to get them to take that leap of faith and that next step for them to do their part, that takes a little bit of mastery. First of all, you have to be in neutral. You have to be in what I call teacher space and be focused on leading them to a place of clarity and leading them to make a choice and leading them to decide if this is the right program for them, if you're the right teacher for them, leading them to see whatever excuses and mind creative obstacles they're pulling in their own way. Okay, so you have to care, and you have to be able to genuinely connect with them. So whenever we are presenting our offers, we want students to know that we understand how they feel, because oftentimes you didn't end up as a yoga teacher because you were born and you said, I'm going to go enlighten the world, right? That's not what happened. You were probably at some point a human being suffering, and you stumble upon yoga and it helped you heal. And at some point you said, oh my God, I want to shout this off the rooftops. Let me go help someone else. But little did you know that it was easier said than done, right? Because in order to help someone else, you have to be standing on solid ground. Otherwise, instead of pulling them up, they end up pulling you down. But at the beginning, when they come in through the door, one of the things that you want to do is help them to understand that you understand and that you've been there. And at the same time, you want to be able to lead with confidence, open the door, and let them walk in. You cannot go in and try and convince them. You cannot go behind them and try and push them in the door. They have to make that decision. And in order to do that, you have to be neutral. And the only way that you can be neutral is if you have systematic things in place that allow you to go from lead to lead, from enrollment call to enrollment call, and you are confident that you have enough people raising their hands that if this one doesn't sign up, then the other one will. And you are just focused on what you can create and how you can support those students who do choose to step forward. So you have to lead with confidence, and at the same time, you have to stay neutral. But most importantly, you have to provide more value and more support than everyone else out there, because there is a yoga teacher on every corner. Yoga classes are free and cheap all over the place. So if you want to differentiate yourself from the crowd, you have to do something a little bit different than what everyone else is doing. So right now, what everyone else is doing is they're selling $20 classes, and that's a high price. I've seen students and teachers charge a lot less, like $5 yoga classes or $10 yoga classes. But let's just be nice and pretend $20 per yoga class, right? That means that you need 500 students per month in order to make 10 grand. That's a lot of hassle. Like, that's a lot of people. Energetically, no human being can really truly lift 500 students per month. But if we step away from the crowd, and instead of, doing things one class at a time, one class part at a time, we focus on recruiting students who are really invested in their own growth, who genuinely want to change their lives, who are willing to put in the work that it's going to take in order for them to heal and solve their problem. Then you can very easily get students into a program where they pay you, let's just say $2,000 a month. And then in order to make 10 grand, you really only need 5 students. If you don't even need 10 grand and you just need like 6 grand, okay, you need 3 new students a month. With the right systems, the right messaging, that is not difficult at all. And you just need a clear path of enrollment. You need a clear program that's going to be sustainable, that's going to create a little bit of a commitment. When a student gives you $1,000, $2,000, they're invested. They're going to show up to the classes. They're going to do the homework you give them. They're going to follow your leadership because they have invested in themselves. So if you have money wounds that we need to heal in order for you to feel comfortable collecting that kind of money, we'll work on that. Okay. But I want you to understand that that's not a lot of money in order to really help someone with a problem that has the potential to change their life forever. Okay, so if you get away from thinking per class, per hour, and you start to think, what value do I bring? What is that worth to them? And how can I get them enrolled in a way where they're going to do their part to solve that problem? That's going to be that's going to be better for everyone involved. Okay. Now, I said I want you working no more than 30 or 35 hours a week. But the truth of the matter is 20% of that time, if not a little bit more, needs to be dedicated towards your business part of the business, just like any other business. I feel that a lot of times yoga teachers just when they run out of students, they go do some marketing, and then they get students, they get busy, they start teaching again, and then just attrition. The yoga industry is flaky. And because of the business models that are currently in place, students get bored and quit and stop showing to class because they didn't make that commitment from the very beginning in the first place. So then you end up like this start and stop, and you don't get a lot of momentum. So we're going to get very clear on exactly how you need to be spending your time so you work smarter, not harder. And from the very beginning, if you get nothing else out of this presentation today, is be mindful that you need constant lead generation and you need constant enrollment and nurturing of those leads that you get. If you do that part right, you get to teach. If you don't do that part right, then you don't have people to teach. You have to earn the right. It's part of your job. And with that comes whatever business expenses come with that. And we need to factor that into the price of our programs because it needs to run in a profitable way in order for you to be able to deliver without the resentment, without the burnout. So far I have shown you that there's an industry gap of people jumping from teacher to teacher, student to studio to studio, workshop to workshop, and that in order to be different from the crowd, you need to create a program that is at least 4, 6, 8, 12 weeks that allows students to commit from the beginning. And then you need to give them exactly what it is that you're going to do that's different from what everyone else is doing. And that is what gives you the right to ask for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for your program. So that instead of having to have 500 students a month, you only have to get 5 new students a month. And you have to create a clear path of enrollment and have systematic lead generation and systematic enrollment processes in place in order for this to work. And you have to dedicate some of your time as part of your job to recruiting, enrolling, and retaining students. Okay. Let's stop for a second before I go into a little bit more. How long have you struggled on your own? Like you decided you wanted to be a yoga teacher and it's obviously easier said than done. And you're probably teaching way too many classes, or you're probably teaching a lot, but charging so little that you have to have 3 other jobs in order to pay the bills. And then you show up to class, you're not even where you need to be because you spend the whole day stressed at your other job that actually pays the bills. What would it be like if you could actually pay the bills doing this for a living? How many hours, days, sleepless nights have you spent trying to figure out how to get your yoga business off the ground? And what happens if you don't figure it out? Do you have to go back to work? Do you have to close the studio that you opened? So, you had this dream of opening up a studio and now there's no people in the door. They come and they stay and then they quit, and you don't have the systems in place to keep people coming again and again. What does it cost you to keep doing what you're doing? And what if you had my support to help you step by step for your specific needs? Because I work in very small groups. I practice what I preach. So if you ever come into one of my programs, I usually work on groups of 6, maximum 9 students so that I can make sure that everyone gets the attention that you need. So what would it be like if you had the support that you needed? And then you have 3 options. You can do nothing, keep doing what you're doing. And if it's working, great, good for you. Like genuinely, I'm happy for you. Or you can try and implement some of the things that I've shared on this presentation on your own. And if that's what you choose to do, I completely and sincerely respect that too. I wish you the best. But I also know that I didn't get here on my own, that I had to be invested in my business, and I had to be willing to think outside the box, and I had to be willing to learn new techniques and new ways of doing business in order for my business to eventually get off the ground. So I know how valuable support can be. And what would happen if you had someone holding your hand and giving you step-by-step guidance? So you decide what happens next. Again, the same way that I teach you how to communicate your value is the same way that I communicated my value for the last 15 minutes or so. And I just want to ask you, how much money are you leaving on the table because you don't have the right mindset or the right strategy? A lot of the things that I do for my students, yes, I'm very pragmatic and very systematic in my approach to running the business, but I think that a lot of the work is also on the mindset and holding that teacher space and being able to present your offers from a neutral place and valuing yourself and what you do for people. So how much money are you leaving on the table because you don't have the right strategy or the right mindset? If you keep doing what you're doing, what happens? And if you learn to do things differently, what happens? Like, dream with me for a minute. What would it be like if you had systems in place and you had phone calls coming in? Like right now, as I record this video, I have 3 phone calls to return of leads that came in during the day that want to schedule appointments and things like that. That's kind of nice to have. And so I don't have to worry where my next lead is coming from. Are all 3 of them going to sign up? Probably not, but that's okay. I have 3 more leads coming tomorrow, right? So what would it be like if you were in this neutral place where you get to pick and choose what clients work with you? And what would it feel like to have my help and support? So I'm going to explain to you right now how my offer works, and then I'm going to give you the 3 questions that I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to ask your students when you're interviewing them or you're presenting your offer. So what I'm offering to do is so that you and I together create an irresistible offer that basically sells itself so that students line up to sign up for your offer, and you can focus on teaching and helping students for real because you're not on survival mode trying to figure out where your next student and your next paycheck is coming from. The way that it works is it's a mentorship program. It's 6 months because it does take time to implement all the content you will have. So I have an online module, an online platform that has 9 modules, about 27 little lessons. Some are 10 minutes, some are 90 minutes, depending on what topic I'm covering, with all the techniques that I use to get my business to 6 figures plus per year, teaching yoga and doing what I love. So I'm sharing, like, I hold nothing back. The reason that I do this program is because at some point my practice grew so big that I had teachers teaching for me, and it felt noisy. It felt like too many people, and I felt somewhat disconnected from my students because I was using my name and I was using, my communication skills to get them to raise their hands and want to sign up for my program, but I couldn't service everyone. So I said to myself, okay, why am I hiring teachers? Why don't I just teach the teachers how to do what I do, and then they can go out and get their own students? And that's kind of how this program was born. Okay, so the way that it works is we meet once per week on a live Zoom with me, usually no more than 6 students. And you follow the course on your own. And then we also have a private Facebook community where you get support, you get to network, you get to collaborate, you get inspiration from other yoga teachers, life coaches, massage therapists, energy healers, nutrition coaches, wellness, any holistic practitioner, anyone who is out there helping people to better themselves and their lives. Super affordable on purpose because my intention again is to help you help the world. So you can get started today for $300, and then you do 5 more payments of $300. So the total cost is $1,800. If you sign up today and you follow the link below, you also get a complimentary one-on-one assessment and coaching session with me. If you get on the phone with me after you sign up and we have this one-on-one assessment, and after I have looked at your business and I have seen where you are, if I don't feel like you're a good fit for the program and I feel like you either are juggling way too many things or you're maybe not qualified because you don't have the certifications that you need. So in order to sign up for this program, you must be able to service clients and have some sort of certification, whether that's on life coaching, energy healing, sound healing, massage, yoga, whatever it is, but you must be certified. So please don't sign up for this program if you are not interested in getting clients that you can genuinely and ethically serve with integrity and collect money for your services. Okay. So, but if you get to this phone call and we have that interview and you decide that I'm not the right teacher for you for whatever reason, no worries. I'll just refund you your $300 back. No big deal. You don't get access to the course, but that's okay. Like, if I'm not the right teacher for you, I understand. And these are the 3 questions that I'm going to ask you now, and that I want you to ask your students when you are interviewing them and you're presenting your offer. Right now, I'm presenting it through this little video because I have more leads than I can handle, and I don't have time to get on the phone with each one of them. But these are questions that I want you to ask your students when they call you and they're interested in your programs. Number 1, is this the right program for you at this time? Like what I've presented, how I've explained my value, what we're going to do. I gave you tons of free guidance and free advice and tons of tips on what you need to do. And if you feel you can do it on your own, great, like take it and run with it. Like good luck. And I genuinely mean that, because I put this offering out there to show my value to people. And some of them find what I have to offer great. And some of them are maybe skeptical. Maybe they've been burned before by other coaches and teachers who just weren't there for them. And I understand, because I myself paid, for a program like this, oftentimes it can cost somewhere between like $5,000, $7,000, $15,000. And here I am offering it to you for $1,800 and giving you a 6-month payment plan for it of $300 a month, right? So I understand if there's a skepticism because you feel like, oh my God, it's too good to be true. It's really not. Like, I genuinely do this from a place of love. This is not my main income and my main source of business. I have a studio that I run for myself, that I help students with Reiki, life coaching, and yoga myself. So you have to decide if I'm also the right teacher for you at the time. If watching this video, you feel like, oh my goodness, God has sent me this lady to help me because I feel so stuck, and you're following your intuition and you're following the signs and you are trusting your spirit and you're going to go ahead and take that leap of faith, right? And some of you might say, I don't know, maybe this lady sounds too direct and too blunt, and that's not everybody's style. So whenever a student comes to you, it has to be the right program for them. You have to be the right teacher for them. And then they have to decide where they want to go from here. So I ask you right now, where do you want to go from here? Do you want to stay where you are, keep doing what you're doing, or do you want to get yourself a little help and support to get to the next level? And I'm hoping this video play.
So I will have to say that I felt like when I introduced money and trying to set people up before I met Sarah, it was very salesy. I felt like, well, I don't want to ask because it's very salesy. And she puts it in a way and trains us in a way that I don't feel like it's salesy anymore. I feel like it is helping them, and I'm here to help them and serve them. Like if they say no, I move on to the next person. So Sarah has helped me in so many ways, and she's uncleared my brain to allow me to better serve people and to sign people up.
I've like my essential oils for years, but I am newer to the yoga world, and the fear of like stepping in. But this program really, it's like learning about being neutral has been like widened like in my life. And then just like the systems, like it is like, if you're prepared with what we're learning, I'm just like, wow, this is gonna be really easy in the sense of like knowing what to do, but like it's from my heart,
Sarah will help you get out of your own ways. Any insecurity, any thought that's coming up, because this program isn't just pragmatic, it's also spiritual. She's a yoga energy teacher. So like dive into that, but be willing to be vulnerable and say, I'm struggling with this today. Like I'm having imposter syndrome, or I don't believe that I'm worth this, because quite frankly, any insecurity you're feeling is a mirror of something you have the opportunity to work on, and you learn your value. And so if you don't believe that you're worth something, then you're not going to be worth it. It's about getting out of our own way and providing something to a student that only you can offer. Each one of us are individuals, and our programs are a piece of our heart, and we're the only ones that can offer this program. So know that that's worth something, but also know that you have the opportunity to provide somebody else what you need. And so if you're struggling with something, design a program to help with that, because you're going to get the benefits out of doing that. Like that's how we learn and grow is by teaching and shining a light on an area in our life that is uncomfortable so that we can master that. Like this is for us and not for them. And if they don't want it, somebody else will.
Right. And it's for you and for them.
Yeah.
Right.